The Fantastic Four First Steps was a purely fantastic movie, but when walking out of the cinema, there was one sequence that I couldn't stop thinking about. It's oddly my favourite sequence, and that is the birth of Franklin Richards. I said this is oddly my favourite because, well, it's a birth scene. I can't watch birth scenes, but this, I have never seen anything quite like it. The performances, the cinematography, the visual effects, the music, it's all around stunning. Matt Shakman crafted something truly unique and cinematic. This sequence should be studied because it's a crash course in how to create high stakes. We're going to look at how it does it.
I come at this movie as a husband and as a father. The birth of my daughter remains the most fantastic moment of my life. I felt like I wanted to try to capture that, but I also needed it to be fantastic in other ways too. Birth is hard enough, but imagine doing it while you're slingshotting around a neutron star. You don't know if you're gonna be able to get home. Everything, the stakes couldn't be higher.
High stakes means a situation that has a lot of risk and in which someone is likely to either gain or lose a great deal. In this sequence, the heroes are facing a world-destroying threat and are being chased through outer space, all while a baby is coming. You cannot possibly create a higher stakes situation than this. The first thing that the writers did to create high stakes was establish the threat. Even before this sequence, there was build-up to the threat. The Herald scared the whole world by announcing the threat of Galactus, and for a while we're left in suspense as we don't yet see Galactus. And later, the Fantastic Four witness Galactus destroy an entire planet, so the danger is clear. Then Galactus gets a terrifying introduction. We see how massive he is, and we hear Ralph Ineson's epic voice.
I was once little like you.
This threat already feels unstoppable. The next thing they did was establish the goal. What is there to gain or lose in this situation? Franklin is the MacGuffin of the story. Galactus is likely to gain Franklin, his salvation. The Fantastic Four are likely to lose Franklin, the most important thing to them. Galactus is so desperate that he causes Sue to go into labor. Then the four must protect the baby and get home. That's not easy, is it? Really, all that happens in a story is a character overcoming obstacles. The hero should always be challenged because that's what makes it entertaining. Always remember that drama without conflict is boring. Sid Field said, "All drama is conflict. Without conflict, you have no action. Without action, you have no character. Without character, you have no story. And without story, you have no screenplay." And what did the writers do here? They put obstacle after obstacle after obstacle in front of the heroes to keep them from achieving their dramatic need. There's the world-destroying threat of Galactus. The heroes are being relentlessly chased by the Silver Surfer through the dangerous environment of space. Sue is giving birth, and then they encounter a black hole. And even after they evade their pursuer, it's still not over. They don't have enough fuel to get home, and the baby is moments away from arriving. You're wondering, how will they ever get out of this? There's so much conflict, it's so engaging, I love it. The way to really make the audience feel the intensity is fast pacing. This sequence does this exceptionally well. From the moment that Galactus causes the labor to start, the movie does not stop for 10 minutes straight. The music picks up, cuts are quick, and there's constant movement. We are pulled along for the ride. One of the most important things in writing is to make it relatable. If there isn't something relatable in the script, the audience aren't going to be invested enough to watch. Now, how is this relatable? No one can relate to giving birth in space, it's so comic booky. But you can relate to giving birth, that is very raw and human. And as humans, we relate to humor. Despite the high stakes and intensity, there is still good humor in here. But it's not forced or out of place. It feels like natural banter between a family. It's just how these characters would react in this situation.
How much of a dilation?
Is it more than mine?
Johnny, quit screwing around! If I tell you how to drive the ship, don't tell me how to kill sexy aliens!
To help make high stakes situations more meaningful, the characters still need to show personality, so that when the stakes are raised, we see a change in them. On that note, don't focus on shock factor. Shock factor is not storytelling, it's offensive. If you do things in a scene purely to shock the audience, then it's not high stakes, it's just dull. For example, killing characters willy-nilly is just bad writing. It's not earned or dramatic, and the audience will respond badly. But the Fantastic Four does none of that. When Sue goes into labor, it is shocking, but again, it's done to establish the threat and the goal. And there are very close calls all throughout this sequence to keep you on the edge of your seat. What truly made this my favourite sequence though was the fantastic performances from the cast. I don't know how they managed to pull it off. It would have been really hard for them. Especially Vanessa Kirby. She lost her voice by the end of it.
Everything's gonna change.
Nothing's gonna change. I promise you.
You can't promise that. You can't promise that.
Characters are what carry us through a story. The situation must be reflected in the character. Immerse your actors in the character's shoes and let them live in the moment. As they say, 90% of directing is casting. So it helps when you have good actors such as the F4. They're all perfectly casted. Having believable performances will help the audience believe what they're seeing and feel the high stakes. The sequence finally slows down in the beautiful moment when Franklin is born. We see these superheroes as utterly human. The heroes have overcome the obstacles of the situation. It couldn't have ended better. I think it's very important to have moments to breathe like this amidst high stakes. Otherwise, the characters won't have time to react or grow, and the audience won't have time to absorb everything that's happened. So to summarize what we can learn from this sequence, establish the threat. Have a clear goal. Make it challenging for the heroes. Make it fast-paced. Keep it relatable. Don't rely on shock factor. And let your actors play. If you do all that, then you'll have a high-stakes film. I can't emphasize enough how fantastic this sequence is. I hope you learned something from this. I definitely did. So what did you think of this sequence? What's another great example of high stakes in film? Let me know in the comments below, and may the Force be with you.